My husband ignored me until he got mistaken for my boy best friend. I'd given up on even trying to mention our anniversary. That's how many times my husband Landon had forgotten about it. But this year, his sister must have said something, because 2 weeks after our missed anniversary, he insisted we should go to the Italian place where we'd had our first date. He didn't apologize or acknowledge what day we were supposedly celebrating. He just made a reservation and told me to wear something nice. We sat down at the same table where I'd patiently waited for him to arrive during the last 3 years, and every time he told me he couldn't make it due to work. I'd even grown close with the staff because they all joked about my ghost husband, who was never here. Katie! Oh my goodness. Llama, the waitress, gasped with delight. You actually brought someone? She beamed at me, then turned to Landon with warm approval. I'm so glad she finally took my advice about bringing a friend instead of waiting. Landon glanced up, confused. Friend? But Llama was already pouring water, gushing at me. 3 years of sitting alone on your anniversary, and you finally decided to move on. Good for you, honey. She winked at Landon. You must be the co-worker she mentioned, the one who actually remembered her promotion. Landon's brow furrowed as Llama continued. Make sure to order the good wine tonight. She always gets the house red since she's paying alone. She patted my shoulder sympathetically before walking away, leaving Landon staring at me. What was that about? He asked, but I just looked at the menu, my chest tightening with 3 years of humiliation. The bartender walked by and did a double take. Llama, is that? He gestured at our table. Llama nodded excitedly. Yep, she finally brought a date. No more phantom husband stories. The bartender laughed. About time. 3 years of he's running late got depressing. They weren't even being quiet. Landon's face was changing, his phone lowering to the table. Phantom husband? He said slowly. A busboy clearing nearby tables chimed in. Yeah, the lady who cries into her tiramisu every year. We take bets on whether a guy will actually show up. Landon's jaw tightened. The sommelier approached with genuine enthusiasm. Ma'am, since you have actual company tonight, might I suggest a real bottle? Not like when you nurse a single glass for hours. Landon was completely still now, watching the staff treat him like my savior while discussing my abandoned anniversaries. I remembered how alone I'd felt whenever I came here, how I'd wished that Landon would bring me a gift and pick me up in his car, but he'd always let me down. Llama returned with her notepad, still glowing with approval at Landon. You know, sir, she orders the same thing every anniversary. A butternut squash ravioli. Her husband apparently loved it on their first date here. Landon was starting to squeeze his knuckles, realizing how badly he'd been ignoring his wife. She even brought him a gift once. Llama continued talking to him like they were conspirators. A Rolex. It sat wrapped on this table for 4 hours. She shook her head. Can you imagine forgetting your wife exists for 3 straight years? The sous chef passed by and called out, Hey, is that the anniversary lady? Finally got smart and brought real company? Llama nodded proudly. Someone who actually shows up. Landon's breathing was getting shallow. I'm not, he started, but Llama was already taking my order. The usual, honey? And for your friend? She smiled encouragingly at Landon. Other diners were glancing over now, probably glad that a woman was moving on from her absent partner. I'm her husband, Landon said abruptly, his voice cutting through Llama's cheerful chatter. The restaurant seemed to pause. Llama's smile froze, then slowly disappeared. You're what? She looked between us, her face cycling through confusion to horror. You're the husband? The one who never... She stopped, staring at Landon like she was seeing a ghost. You actually exist? The words came out as an accusation. But I've never seen you. 3 years of anniversaries, and not once did you accompany her. Landon's face was stone. I had work. Llama's professional mask cracked completely. You had work? She sat here last year until midnight, called you 15 times while the whole restaurant watched. Her voice was rising. The year before, she told me about the promotion you didn't celebrate, the miscarriage you didn't notice. And this year, she looked at me, then back at him. This year, she didn't even cry anymore, just sat here silent, like she'd finally given up. The entire restaurant was watching now. Landon sat frozen as Llama set down the menus with shaking hands. I thought you were a myth she made up to explain why she was always alone. Landon's face crumbled in the silence that followed, the weight of 3 years visible in his eyes. The next morning, I woke to breakfast in bed and apology flowers.